Hello everyone, welcome at our regular DevSync with the whole team from Subspace Labs. We'll share updates from the previous week and plans for the immediate future. And today we'll start with Ivan.
Yeah, sure. So during last week, I was testing the DSN sync. So basically, I discovered some low-hanging fruit optimizations for farmer for the DSN sync. I was working on that. While I was working on that, I also discovered some bugs related to syncing. Hopefully, our tests got those bugs and we managed to fix them. So today I was testing the new upgraded version of Farmer, and it seems that the optimization didn't help a lot. The speed of synchronization, like from one HDD, is around uh, half of a megabyte per second, something like that, which counts which sums up to be one half gigabyte per hour or something. Yeah, which doesn't sound that good. We'll work on that. Also, I will test it on the SSD. And describe my setup to Nazar as he asked in the issue. There are some patches which I applied. Until the moment when we will discover peers which support our protocol. I mean the peace request response protocol. We need those patches in order for sync to work. So that's it from my side. I guess after I finish the syncing, testing sync from SSD, I can start thinking of working on the continuing the DSN sync and resuming that. After the stop. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's the last major piece that we haven't started yet to resume after restart. Okay, sounds good to me. Any questions from the team? Cool, Serge.
I was working on a Subspace desktop, so I have added a test run to our GitHub workflow because we already have some unit tests in the code base. And most of the time I was working on the issue that Ozgun reported last week. So the application was showing error if node was restarting because RPC didn't work. So I implemented a quick workaround for that. And that was merged because I didn't want to block our milestone, which is deadline is today. And once workaround was merged, I started working for the more sustainable long-term solution. And while I was working, I noticed that sync state RPC endpoint didn't return the highest block number. And it made it impossible to track the syncing progress. So I did some research. There was an issue and PR in the parity substrate repository, which fixed that. So I messaged Nazar, and when Nazar updated monorepo dependencies, I submitted PR for updating desktop dependencies. It was approved, but currently it's blocked with CI issue. Ozgun will elaborate on that one. So once that issue is resolved, I will finalize my solution. And in the meantime, I was working on setting up end-to-end tests using for Tauri, end-to-end tests for Tauri. And after that is done, if we have a new release, I can resume working on updater. That's all.
Okay, does anyone has questions about that? All right, Lucheng, you're next.
Okay, so last week I was primarily busy with the domains discussion with Jeremiah and Red, writing some documents, know the part of Node's implementation and the design doc of palette domains has been done and reviewed by Jeremiah. the focus of this week will be the design doc of palette executor registry and the palette domain registry. Furthermore, I can also start flashing out the spec of the execution if the template is ready. Yeah, that's my updates.
Okay. Any questions about that?
Yeah, the template is ready. Lu Cheng, I was going to cover that in my update. And I was actually going to, sorry, I'm a little behind schedule this morning. I was going to shoot you guys some notes on next steps and priorities for this week as well.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks, Lu Cheng. Ozgan, what about you?
Let me start by what Serge mentioned. So as of Friday, our CI tests for the desktop started to fail. Not the published one that we revamped, but the CI tests. It seems that the Windows certificate is the issue. The step where we import the Windows certificate is still successful, but when we try to build the application, it tries to sign the Windows build automatically. And the build is only failing for Windows. So for macOS and Linux, we are good. I was trying to solve that today by changing some stuff, but I was unsuccessful. My trials were in vain. I also started revamping the CI tests along the way because we had to do it in some point. This was just a trigger for that. For the last week, also another workflow is completed, the Discord workflow. So now if we have another release for the Subspace desktop, we will be able to automatically notify our Discord server. So we won't have to do a manual job. In the pre-release testing channel, we will be posting a message for the new release is ready. And if they want to test it, we will provide links in that message. So that workflow is done, and that workflow will be run automatically after the publish workflow is successful. We also synced with Arthur on the semantic versioning and the release strategy for desktop. These are the main points, and for the upcoming week, I will complete the rotating logs. Seems like the tracing team will not be doing some work on that because it's waiting for like maybe 2 months. So I will just go ahead and use the fork that I created. And for the other tasks that I can do for this week, maybe it will be better to talk them off the recording.
Okay. Sounds like good progress. Any questions to Ozgan? Cool. Shamil, you're next.
Sure. Last week, I made final changes and merged networking manager PR. I worked with large plot bug connected to the P2P multiplexer. I tried to change YAMUX to older MPlex multiplexer, but reverted it back later because of inconsistency results found by Ivan. Also, I worked on filtering related nodes from the DHT, and I started peer info protocol to support DSM sync. My plan for this week is to finish node filtering for the DSM sync and probably to start Bootstrap application for the DSM. That's it.
Yeah, DSM Bootstrap is another process that need to be actually tested between different machines.
You guys hearing us?
You have issues with your mark again. Me.
Sorry about that. Is it better? Awesome.
You said something about Bootstrap application. Please repeat.
Bootstrap node application is the one of the last pieces that are necessary for us to test between different machines outside of single machine. So that's cool. Any other questions to Shamil? Awesome. Well,
Hey everyone. Last week, mostly catching up with implementations of other bridges that Jeremiah put together. Post that a bunch of design docs. The first one for the palette exits, and the other one is a light line that we've worked on so far. I was able to catch up Daria and Shamil regarding that as well. Post that a small fix on the light client implementation that Nazar found during the FastSync. And yeah, this week I want to focus more on the next palette, that is palette transporter, for design documentation for the palette transporter. And was that Nazar and I discussed there are 2 things that are missing from the light client implementation from the current one. So maybe if I get a chance, I would finish those up so that he could work on top of that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it so far. Oh yeah, sorry. Jeremiah did put together a bunch of unified messaging protocol for us. I totally forgot about that. Sorry, Jeremiah. I started catching up with it.
Yeah, I'll cover that in my update. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. If you wanted to talk about it, son.
Yeah, I started catching up with it over the weekend, and I will catch up with it, and then I can sync with you again.
All right. Thanks, Ved. On my side, I was working on a few things. First of all, I had to do the graceful shutdown for the farmer to make sure we don't break databases under any circumstances, at least due to the application logic. That was quite a big pull request, but it was reviewed and merged. After that, as Serge mentioned, I did upgrade to the Substrate and also Rust version, because the new Rust version has a new binary shipped with the official releases that support macro expansion for nightlies in a consistent way. So when we upgrade nightly, it will always work with the IDE, and support for that new binary is available in VS Code already and should be in the upcoming release of IntelliJ Rust. So that was kind of necessary for us to have good experience in IDE. And after that, I was also working on the improvements for the FastSync. There were a few things missing in terms of checks for the next digest items. And we had already had that in the light client, so I implemented some of those in the FastSync. However, I'm waiting for one more component from VAD to finish that. In particular, we are not checking, we are not supporting the situation where we don't have solution range adjustments. That is the case for the Gemini 1B early history, and probably will be the case for the stress test. And we need to support that special case. Otherwise, it's running for a few hours already with like data pruning and everything, and seems to work. So quite happy with that. And for this week, I think I will be working with the DSN sync, trying to help with testing and getting the team to test that as well, and trying to do any optimizations necessary. All right, Arthur, what about the product?
Hey, how's it going? 6.11 was just marked from pre-release to latest, so that's what we have going on. This week we're going to start trying to release 6.12. So that's what we have for Subspace Desktop. Also, in regards to the certification, last week the Windows cert had expired on 11, so Justin did go ahead and update that. So currently I am trying to update the publish workflow and test those changes to make sure that we can pass through with the signing for Windows. That's it on my end.
I have a small question about that. Is there a way to set up like a notification for that certificate expiration so we can update it a little bit ahead of time?
I need to look into it more, and I'll probably talk to Justin about how we got it. But yeah, we should probably have this automated. I agree. It takes a while too for the certs to be updated as well.
Okay, makes sense to me.
What were the main changes for 6.11 to 6.12, Arthur?
Yeah, let me pull it up. So for 6.12, the biggest changes we have for 6.12 is we have a lot of fixes to the UI and the errors. We've added the let's see, the notifications, workflows are in there. Yeah, that's pretty much most of the larger change. Oh, and reintroducing no restart.
Okay, thanks, Arthur. Is there anything we need to discuss before we close the recording today? Looks like no. Thanks everyone for great work, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week.